So, is Toppo the god of destruction in Universe 11 now? I mean, I wouldn't really say so after everything that we saw in the Tournament of Power, but who really is to say? And that's really what I want to talk about today is, what happens when Belmont really does decide to retire? Is that form that we saw with Toppo actually his god of destruction form? And what is the actual ceremony ritual like? Is this going to play a major story role in a future arc of Dragon Ball Super? Let's discuss. Hey YouTubers, don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell over by the subscriber button to notify you every single time I upload. Enjoy the video. So guys, as I said at the beginning of this video in that little introduction, today I want to talk about the God Ritual and what it can mean for the story of Dragon Ball Super going forward. So first off, one of the things we know is that Toppo is going to become the new God of Destruction at some point for Universe 11. And what we know from the Future Trunks arc is that once a God or God of Destruction actually bites the dust, it causes a lot of problems for that universe. Obviously, as I've talked about in some of my other videos, I like the idea of Beerus dying because it would throw Universe 7 into kind of a loop, right? And we would have to figure out who's going to be the next God of Destruction, who gets to take Beerus's place, at least for the time being, and maybe, just maybe, it's going to be Oob or something like that, but that is neither here nor there in this video. This would, at least in my opinion, would be a great way of setting up that storyline, but let's get to that later. Anyway, as we know, Belmont is going to be retiring and Toppo is going to take his place. One of the things I would really like to see if there was going to be Universe 11 coming back in a major way and having a main story thrust in the future of Dragon Ball, it would be Belmont deciding to retire and Toppo has to take his place. Obviously, at first it becomes like, oh, this is a real peaceful thing. This is some way that we kind of take power to a mortal, give him the God of Destruction power. That way the universe stays in constant flux. There's never one God of Destruction. There's never not a God of Destruction at any given time. So when Belmont retires, at that precise moment, we have Toppo taking up the power of the God of Destruction. And this would be a great way for Goku, Vegeta, Beerus, Whis, Champa, and all these other characters that we've come to know and love actually make their way into the story. Heck, you can even bring in Kale, Caulifla, or Kaba, maybe even hit other people from Universe 6, because what if, like Goku and Vegeta, they're now training with Champa and Vados, and that way, when they all get the message, like, hey, you're cordially invited to this God ritual or something, your brother Belmont is actually deciding to retire, and Toppo is going to take his place, hope everyone can join, and because Goku and Vegeta are actually training on Beerus and Whis' planet, they decide to go with them, and just because, you know, whatever, Champa is training now Caulifla or Kale or Kaba or maybe even Hit or some of the Namekians decided to just stay with them because their race is gone or a vast majority of their race is gone. You know what I'm getting at. And you know, the way I would do it is there's this big thing about this ritual. It never goes well. You know, there's infighting, there's bad blood between some of the gods of destruction, and petty arguments get in the way and all this other stuff. It creates a lot of bad blood and real big drama for everybody. And one of the things I would do just for fun is just reference the fact that the two newest gods of destruction, even whether or not this is true, I don't know, but the two newest gods of destruction are Champa and Beerus, and just because they're the twins of each other, and it feels right, and it's like a nice little joke to put in there, but they're the two newest. And afterwards, like when they were there, they ended up getting into a fight because, you know, one of them went actually before the other or something like that. And this started the whole beef with Quintella and all this other stuff that we kind of got alluded to in the Tournament of Power, but didn't really actually explain. And so this is something everyone's kind of on pins and needles about. I hope it goes well. I hope it goes well. But this one's a little bit different. And I think one of the reasons it's a little bit different is because of the events of Dragon Ball Super, especially the last two arcs, where one of the things that became very clear for most of the gods of destruction and just basically every universe is not only is there a multiverse, which it really kind of seems like after everything that we watched in the Tournament of Power, that the only thing that really comes to mind after that is maybe Universe 7 and 6 were the only ones who didn't know about the multiverse, or at least Universe 7, because it seemed pretty clear that Universe 9 knew about it, Universe 11 kind of knew about it, and then also Universe 10 knew about it to some degree. So yeah, we're not really sure if that's the case. Obviously, Universe 2 at least knew about it from the live stream they were doing in the Tournament of Power. So all these other universes, at least the population, not just the gods, are completely aware of each other. Plus, at this point, because of what Zamasu and Kawasu said in the Future Trunks arc, the gods now are aware of the Super Dragon Balls. They weren't aware before. Obviously, Gowasu was like, hey, I just thought that was a rumor, and no one was really looking for them besides Champa, right? Beerus kind of vaguely knew about them, but he had never met any dragons before, as they said throughout Dragon Ball Super. So this is general knowledge now after the Tournament of Power, and because of that, because they've used a couple wishes and various different timelines throughout Dragon Ball Super, this ritual is where Zarama shows up. Yeah, that's right. I'm going with the whole Zarama card. But Zarama comes into the fray, and he's like, hey, I don't like you using my wishes for this. I'm just going to sit here and police you guys. Like, I want everyone to know that I put these here for a specific reason. You can't just keep bringing back universes and not bringing back universes. All this willy-nilly nonsense or whatever. So, obviously, this creates a whole lot more tension. And because all the gods are there and because everything else is being set up in this way, I would do one of two things. Either you slowly throughout this ritual, which I think would take a couple of manga chapters, a couple of episodes in the anime, who knows, but I would take enough chapters to set up the fact that this is going on and maybe develop Sarama's character a little bit more to make him a villain, or I would set it up in such a way where all these gods and gods of destruction, everyone who holds any power in any universe, especially Goku and Vegeta, and maybe all these other top fighters like the Pride Troopers who are there just to watch Toppo ascend, and people like Hit and Kaba and Caulifla and all the Nemekans or whatever, nobody is policing Universe 7 and Universe 6. So somebody from one of the other universes, maybe even a god of destruction themselves, like I said, they were not aware of the Dragon Balls at any given point before the Tournament of Power, or at least it was heavily implied that they weren't. So what if one of the gods of destruction from those universes, especially one of the 4 that was disqualified or could sit out the whole Tournament of Power, they would actually go and try to get all the Dragon Balls. You know, go to Zuno or someone who would know exactly where they are, skip everything like Zamasu did, and try to get the wish for themselves. And that way you have Zarama, if he's not the main bad guy of the series, he would know that his Dragon Balls are getting collected, and we could use this storyline, bring in the Pride Troopers, bring in all these people from Universe 6 and Goku and Vegeta and everybody from Universe 7 to go on a good old-fashioned classic Dragon Ball hunt. To me, that would be epic. That would be a great pitch for a story. Starts off really formal, kind of comedic in its own right, and then we're there with just going planet to planet, universe to universe, trying to find the Dragon Balls and make sure that the bad guy doesn't get them before we do. This is classic Dragon Ball stuff. This is the original Dragon Ball manga. This is the Namekian arc. This is where Frieza was trying to get them, Vegeta was trying to get them, Krillin and Gohan were trying to get them. I mean, that's some classic stuff that would take us all back to our childhood. And if you ask me, that was one of the things Dragon Ball Super did not do very well. They did not allow characters that we knew and loved to go and look for the Dragon Balls and have to suffer some great hardship trying to do that. So I think Toppo, as much as I would like to see Universe 11 back again, I think he is the best way of bringing them back in a major way, making them relevant to the story because of the fact he wants to be a god of destruction. Other than that, I mean, you tell me in the comment section below, do you think that Universe 11 is coming back in a major way? And if so, is it going to be through Jiren? I know a lot of people want Jiren to go after the guy who killed all of his family. Heck, one of those guys like who killed all of his family, if not that one guy who did, whether he got revenge or not, maybe he's the guy who goes after the Dragon Balls and we get to deal with him too, so we wrap in all those stories. Who knows? But do you want Jiren to be the main focus? Do you want Toppo to be the main focus? Do you think that this is a good way of leading us into the next big arc of Dragon Ball Super? Or do you think that there's another way or another reason that they should bring in Universe 11 entirely? I like it because it doesn't allow Universe 11 just to be a measuring stick for everyone else, and they can actually have some genuinely awesome moments for themselves. But I want to hear what everyone else has to think. Tell me in the comment section below. Do not forget to like, comment, and subscribe onto this video and channel because you're not going to want to miss anything going forward. In fact, do me a favor, hit that bell over by the subscription button to notify you every single time I upload because YouTube's a little bit crazy these days. Hope everyone's having a fantastic day. It's been real.